So he had a yearning for male leadership and examples, and Ray, fulfilled that. And he was always very, very grateful. And the companionship, he was a very good team player. And he loved all the activities in the Boy Scouts. So, and that's, as a matter of fact, that's where I met him. I didn't, even though I lived in Navarra, the Paloma, I didn't live close to the park. And they had their own little thing all the time, all the people that lived around the park, which was beautiful, but I wasn't really involved in that.
So you lived in Las Palomas.
I lived
on
on
what street?
I lived on N Street,
On N
200
Street.
block of N Street.
And Frankie lived in the projects in South Colton, which were on Pine Street?
Yeah, Pine.
Pine Street,
Mhm.
yeah. So anyway, you met him and the chemistry,
Chemistry, right. We became very good friends and remained friends all those years, And it was him, like I said, that when he realized the troop wasn't in existence anymore, he had talked to Ray, that he decided to take it over, and he approached me to assist him. So I said, sure, I'd be glad to help you, and we did it for a few years, and it worked out great. The boys were a little different. They were more modernized. They had more parent participation. And unfortunately, or fortunately, for our outings, we didn't have the luxury of throwing them in the back of a pickup anymore because we were, rule restrained. So we had to find volunteers, parent volunteers, to help us transport them to different areas. So, but we still did it. We still went, hiking and camping and.
so you did for 2 years then?
Right.
And what happened that you couldn't do it anymore?
Well, Frank was in sales, so sometimes he couldn't even make the meetings or outings. I'd have to take it over. And then I transferred from Colton, the fire department, to Orange County. So it was a different situation over there, and I was away from home, quite often. So I had to drop out, and then I really don't know why he stopped. But
So after both of you stopped being the scoutmasters, then there was the end to scouting for that time?
to my understanding, Troop 45 never came back from that day forward until this group started their little activities. I forget what we met for the very first time. Over in Lucky Center.
Mm-hmm.
Had to do with the troop, but I don't really recall what it was for.
Right, after the banquet, we decided to resurrect the troop again.
45, yeah.
And Gil, what's his last name?
Sanchez.
Sanchez decided to spearhead the movement to resurrect the Troop 45 again, but I don't think it was successful. It just didn't work out. Right, Ernie?
Yeah.
Right. The leaders that we had were pretty wishy-washy. They did it for as long as they felt like it. Then they just drop out. And we raised a lot of funds and gave it to them for equipment, uniforms, and awards for award ceremonies, or courts of honor. And we deposited the money with the Boy Scout headquarters there in Redlands.
Arrowhead District.
Arrowhead District. And they could go in there and just tell them they were from Troop 45, show them their membership card, and they would get what they needed, But that didn't work. They just didn't have the leadership. Like Frank said, there was nobody like Ray who would dedicate his whole life to youth activities, and Boy Scouts being one of them. And he was a surrogate father for a lot of guys I know. I know he was for me. And to this day, I still live by what he taught me. Still.
And Ernie, we did make an effort to resurrect the scouting program again. Mm-hmm. But could it be that times are different now?
I think so. Kids have so many more activities learning the principles that the Boy Scouts teach weren't as vital now as they were back then, because they have a lot more electronic activities. Very few organizations. I don't know if the YMCA is still in existence.
Well,
Yeah. And,
Scouting is still strong,
yeah.
just not in South Colton.
Not in South Colton.
Matter of fact, my grandson's 14. When he was 11, I pushed him towards the scouting in Grand Terrace, Troop 40.
Mhm.
And he did join, but he didn't last 6 months. You know, it just wasn't for him, I guess. I was
No.
disappointed he never even made tenderfoot, you know.
That's a shame.
But Frankie, from your experience, in our days, we didn't have any parent participation. Everybody was busy making a living.
Right.
And when you were the leader of the scout troop, did you have any parent participation?
Yes, yes. Like I said, whenever we were going to have an activity, we needed help with transportation. And I don't know how important the dues were in your days, but when we had the troops, we assessed them like $3 a month in order to raise the funds to buy the supplies that we needed, and the Kiwanis Club at the time was very generous with us. You know, that's another thing.
Which
talking about
Kiwanis Club? Was that the Colt Kiwanis?
Colton
Okay.
Kiwanis Club. As a matter of fact, I don't know if in your time, when I was in the Boy Scouts, Ray would get a contract, I don't know what he'd do, and we'd sell first aid kits. And also we would deliver flyers for companies. Like I remember Ray threw us all in the back of the truck, and we used to go throughout Colton handing out flyers for Rexall's drugstore at the time. And Rexall's would probably pay us $20-40, you know, to do it.
I know also we did service for the Goodwill Industries, remember?
Yeah.
We used to take bags and take them to the different houses and tell them we'd be back the following week to pick it up to give us any donated things that they couldn't use anymore. And we got clothing, shoes, sometimes appliances, whatever. And we turned them over to the Goodwill Industries, and they in turn would refurbish these items and sell them. They still do it today.
Yeah.
I've seen scouts out in the streets with the Goodwill bags distributing them. They
I
still
remember
do.
those bags, they were quite big for the time.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
brown bag.
Yeah.
You know, Ernie,
Yeah.
you showed your Explorer's shirt.
Yeah.
When I was in, that's when the Explorers came out. And like I said before, when I first joined, none of the Boy Scouts had any uniforms, nothing. We go to jamborees and where all the district Boy Scouts would get together. All the other scouts would have full uniforms. And here comes Troop 45 in Levi's and white T-shirts. That's all we had. But we had our neckerchiefs.
And neckerchief.
Then the Explorers came about, and well, it wasn't a hard requirement that you had to have because they went from Boy Scout uniforms to the green shirt like you have,
Yeah.
and it was the green, and none of us could afford to go buy a shirt. Back in those days, it was hard times. So Ray got the idea to go to Rio's Rancho and ask them if they could help us out with apples, so we could sell apples. And say, well, after the season, after November, he said, you can come in and take all the apples you want, no charge. So Ray went to the troop and said, hey, how many of you guys can go this Saturday and pick up apples? Hey, everybody volunteered. So we came over to Rio's Rancho and back up his truck, loaded up the truck with apples. Took them over to South Colton, and everybody brought a bunch of bags, and we sold bags and bags of apples, enough to buy shirts for all the scouts. We went to Hellman's department store,
yeah.
got them in there, and that's how we bought our. But it was Nobody, we were knocking on doors. All this was in South Colton,
Uh-huh.
just in South Colton. Knocking on doors, we'd tell them what we were doing. Everybody, $1 a bag like that. And nobody would say no. Sure, yeah, give me the bag. That's how, but that was Ray, you know. But
So-
nowadays, you know, to run a troop is expensive. You have to have sponsors. And the liability are so great. You take your kids camping, so once some of the kids get hurt, you're gonna get sued. So it's a different world. That's why it's disappearing. You have to have good sponsors, and then sponsors don't want to sponsor Little Leagues hardly anymore, let alone Boy Scouts, you know, a troop.
So Sal, you not only learned survival skills and practical skills being in a Boy Scout, but you also learned entrepreneur skills, where you would go out and pick apples and sell the apples and use whatever you got, those profits, and use them to buy shirts or other things that you needed for the troop.
And those required a white belt, with Ernie?
Yeah.
The green shirt, oh, we were sharp. Green shirt with a white belt, and we thought we were
Oh, and
sharp.
white leggings, remember?
Yeah,
Used to
white
wear
leggings.
those White leggings.
I
Yeah.
remember those two.
Uh-huh.
You know, the thing that comes to mind as we're talking about all these days is the time that we went to Joshua Tree for the camporee. And that was the first time that I really noticed that there was a difference. You know, like you said, you know, we were lucky to have a shirt maybe, and a neckerchief, and that was about it. And we were camping out there kind of in a little isolated area. And they were going to have activities for all the scouts, all the troops that were there. So we went over the rocks and all that in Joshua Tree and got to where all the other troops were. You know, those troops were all, man, dressed to the nines. You had
Big sash.
full uniforms,
All
sashes, and, you know, the cap, the whole thing. Hijo. And I thought, gee, Merry Christmas. You know, are we supposed to be here? I think some of us just kind of ducked out and said, hey, I think I'm not going to participate in this.
Well,
You know?
Lou, you mentioned that they were all nicely equipped.
Oh, yeah, very well.
Remember our backpacks? Where do we buy our backpacks?
That was
What about our mess
Army,
kits?
Army
And our
surplus.
canteens?
Army surplus.
The Army surplus?
Highway 99, the little ones that had it still there.
Yeah.
I think it's a lawnmower shop now or something. I forget. But it's still there, man. We used to buy all our equipment there.
So it was a ragtag kind of
yeah.
description of our Troop 245.
But I'll tell you one thing, on the upside, we always almost got first place in every activities that we participated in. Like first aid, making fires without matches, cooking, not tying. We were good, we were fast. Like, who was saying that we used to try not to throw them on the ground when they were done, remember?
There was, yeah.
Hule.
Ule was really good at it.
Yeah.
Man, he, you know.
But we
man,
came out ahead that way.
Yeah,
We
fast,
went,
yeah, fast.
we didn't have full uniforms, but we had very full and very good skills as Boy Scouts.
So we were taught well by you guys that were scout leaders.
I was only an assistant patrol leader,
Uh-huh.
but I did attain the rank of first class scout. And I remember all the things that you learned or that you had to learn to become, you know, from tenderfoot to second class to first class.
Exactly.
But
I
I-
remember when some of the time, right there at the Wilson, that we would be broken into different groups.
Groups, yeah.
And you tied knots, and you tied this, and you would do this.
Yeah,
and
we're
you would
learning
break them
skills.
up, everybody. But every month, everything was different. Now you go from here, you go here. In other words, you would train you in
Yeah.
all the, like Ernie said, and all the skills that we had to learn, you know?
That's right.
For that
And,
particular rank, yeah.
And then after that, you know, we'd go out there and try it. And a lot of times, like the scoutmasters, they would check us, you know. Give me the chip check or whatever. And a lot of times, you know, like I said, we were kids that a lot of times we just couldn't do it, you know. Some are more active than others. But, you know, they would always say, I'm going to show you how you do it, and I'm going to show you. And you stay there till you do it right. And then he said, okay,
That's
you
right,
got it.
yeah.
So, you know, I remember those little groups that used to have there at Wilson, you know. And I remember, like I said, Ernie and Ray, that would always be there, you know, training us in different things, you know. And every month it'd be something different.
So hands-on experience.
There you go.
Hands-on experience.
But it helped us, not only then, later on in life. Like you said, in the military life, you were a little more advanced because of your Boy Scout training. How to fend for yourself, how to tell which water was bad, which water was good to drink, you know. It was good for the rest of your life, all the training.
Yeah, I heard it from a lot of guys. But they zipped through boot camp just like that when they went into the service. And, because they were teaching them skills that we learned as Boy Scouts, you know? And they had already been through all that, so boot camp was easy, man.
It also taught you how to take care of the other guys, you know,
Sure.
the ones that they couldn't do things,
Right.
you would automatically be a helpful hand to somebody else.
Sure.
But I think that was the most important thing. I'm not kidding you. That, like Frank was talking about when he was Scoutmaster with his kid. But I think that with us, because we always lived in the same barrio and the same part of Colton, that we were more like together, all of us, because we knew each other and we knew the parents and we knew the mothers and fathers of everybody, and there was a connection that, you know, a lot of times, sure the guys would fight with each other and all that, but at the end of the fight, handshakes and no mas, you know? And I think we had that bond between us that in that time, like you said, I think we were different than what the kids are today, you know? Because back then, we would always watch each other's back. We were always trying to help somebody. And, you know, and a lot of times, you know, we couldn't, but half of the time, you know, we were there, you know. And when we went to the scout meetings, we were all together again. And then when we all went our separate ways, and we started growing up, but we still said, hey, Joe over there, or Bill over there, you know, he's having troubles or something like that. And, you know, a lot of times some guys would say, you know what, let's go see what's wrong with it, you know. But I think that was the most important thing of all, that we always took care of each other.
The personal connection.
Yeah. And I personally think, like right now in Colton, I really don't know anybody in Colton no more. I really don't. I mean, I really don't know who lives in South Colton. From us, like that, our generation. Our generation went, and like I thought it was Tony D'Arcy one time at Tommy's house, and he said, you know what, Rudy? There'll never be another one. There'll never be another generation like us.
No.
We had something, and I think we did have something, you know. And for the young people like Frankie, when he was talking about the Colton guys, you know, we all owed to one person, and that was Rivera, because he was always there. He was never, you know, he never said no. He always said, okay, oh, I'll see you guys. Oh, I'll meet you over there. I'll get you what you need, you know. A lot of time we were playing baseball with only one ball. And some of the guys would hit over the fence or over up with it, you know. So, you know, he would always get us balls and bats, you know. I don't know where he got them. We never asked, you know, but I know he probably, like you said, people, a lot of times, even people in merchandise, never said no to him. I think the school district supplied some of the stuff.
And that's another thing, when we were playing ball, you know who supplied everything? Ray Abril. Ray Abril had bats, the bag for the bats, catcher's mitt, catcher's mask. Ray Abril provided not only for the Boy Scouts, but for all the teams in South Colton. If you needed a couple of softballs, go see Ray Abril. Okay, yeah, here. Just be sure to bring it back.
I remember one time we went to play basketball at Casablanca. And we got there, we were warming up, and the guys were over there on one side, the guys from Casablanca, and we were over here and warming up and shooting the baskets and all that. And Ray went and talked to the manager of the other team, and he came over and said, okay, you and you, who are you going to start, you and you and all. Okay, so we beat the guys. We beat them. But then when we were getting when we were gonna get on the truck, he always had a canvas. If you ever remember, he always had a canvas. He said, "You guys, as soon as you get in the truck, get that canvas out." He said, "Because these guys are born losers and they don't like you because you beat them." He said, as soon as I start the truck, you cover yourself because you're gonna feel a lot of stuff in it." You guys. And you know what? It came to pass, they did. I mean, they chased us out of Casablanca, those guys, you know. But when they came over here to Colton, they didn't want to come. They thought maybe we were going to do the same thing to them, you know.
Well, you know, it seems that all of us were impacted in a positive sense with our experience in Boy Scout. There were not only some of the activities that we participated, such as the overnight hikes, the instructional programs that we had, the volunteer things that we needed to do in the community. So it seems that all of us, in one way or another,